Welcome everyone to tonight's Boss Fight live event. We are going to discuss skeletons. It was a good time of year to do this, and it coincided with the Skeleton Accessory Set. So we're really excited to kick things off. Joining us today, we have Erik Araña. He's a partner and art director at Boss Fight.
Hey there, everyone.
We also have Meredith Franks, another partner and art director at Boss Fight.
Hi.
And we have Tony. He is our senior sculptor. Say hi, Tony. I don't think you've done one of these before.
No, I haven't. This is the first one. How you doing, everybody?
Excellent. And as always, I'm Meredith Franks. I'm head of marketing for Boss Fight. I'm so excited to join you guys tonight. We want to make sure that we answer all your questions throughout about skeletons, monsters, all kinds of spooky stuff. So feel free to send them in on the comments and we'll get to as many questions as we can today. But I want to start kicking off with questions about the new Deluxe Skeleton Accessory Set. I know people have been asking lots of questions online and via email, so I thought we'd just start there. Erik, do you maybe want to kick us off and talk about kind of the process and the concept and how that came about?
Yeah, well, you know, we had created the skeleton figure initially, which we'll talk about in a little bit as well. But like, we had all these like grand ideas to do different variations of skeletons and all this stuff. But the truth is, when you have those ideas and you brainstorm all that stuff, you don't always actually find a place to put it in the schedule. So we kind of came up with the idea. We wanted to do some deluxe accessory sets, and that was one of the things at the top of the list. We all kind of went back and forth on what should go in it, what types of skeleton heads, and I think, you know, like what types of accessories and how many and all that. I think we bounced around quite early on, but in the end, you know, where we landed, we were pretty happy with all the different things. We wanted some stuff in there that kind of coincided with some of our other brands and our other concepts, upcoming concepts and stuff like that, like the pirate and things like that, and the aliens. So we just kind of wanted to play around and have some fun.
Tony, I know you were kind of lead sculptor on this accessory set. There's so many details in this set that come about, and I know we always get questions about the sculpting process and how you bring those to life. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you approach that with the Skeleton Accessory Kit?
I get great reference. The partners give me everything I need, and you know, I look over it. I go online and pick out more images here and there, and flesh out the concept. And, you know, take their 2D ideas and bring them into 3D.
I think one of the things that everybody talks about, especially when we do customizing classes and things like that, you know, a lot of times, a lot of the sculpting details aren't seen when you first look at it, but when you add washes or dry brushes or things like that, the details really pop out. So how do you really make sure that all of that medium is coming through so that if people were to customize with it, they can make things really awesome?
It's really being mindful of the thicknesses, the scale of everything. When you're working at 4-inch scale, you have to make things look beefier, and sometimes it doesn't look quite right when you're looking at it on the computer. But once everything's happened and you've gone through production and you're looking at the painted piece or unpainted, it scales properly. And when you apply paint, it shows all those details.
Tony's always been, he's so great at like taking what we put down on paper, well, on the computer. We don't really draw on paper, but taking what, you know, our illustrations and bringing them to life and really adding a lot to and you know, the kind of the analogy I like to use is that is comic books, where each person in the process of making a comic book, their job is to make the previous person look good. And like, it's the same in toy design. There's, you know, the concept, the illustration, the sculpting, the painting, and each step, you know, we're all trying to improve and move it forward to a new level, and Tony's fantastic at that.
We're actually getting some questions about the programs you use, so I'm gonna jump in and ask you that, Tony. So do you use ZBrush? Do you use a different program? And then how do you translate that to a physical medium? Do you go straight to a 3D printer, or do you have some other step that you use in between?
I'm a ZBrush guy. It feels really intuitive. It feels like back in the days using sculpting tools and wax. It's the closest to that I've found. So I am pretty much exclusively that. And then, through the process, you make OBJ files, which are basically the printable files. And then those, what I do on my end is sculpt it, put it into a printable form, and send it to Fred. And then Fred goes from there. And I think he sends it probably to a 3D printer that you guys have, and we go from there.
We utilize an outside 3D printer who's got one of the super, super expensive high-res printers that we use.
Yeah.
Tony, do you ever miss physically sculpting instead of the digital?
Sometimes I will do something at a larger scale on my own, but at the scale we work at, being post 40, I do not. I'm pretty happy with the fact that I can zoom in and it's great. Everything's worked out just fine.
All right. So for those of you who have already seen and played with the skeleton accessory set, you guys can answer in the comment. I'm going to ask these guys this question as well. Do you have a favorite piece in the skeleton accessory kit, a favorite head? I know we've gotten lots of pictures online and things like that using the pirate or the pumpkin. What do each of you have as your favorite piece in that set? And Andrew, I'm going to kick it to you first to talk about your favorite piece in the set.
Ooh, it's a tough choice. I think I'm going to go with that ram skull. That just came out so cool, and it really opens up a lot of fun possibilities for making really terrible monsters. So. All
right. And Erik, how about you? Do you have a favorite?
My favorite piece in this kit is I love the Skeletal Bat Wings. Yeah, they're big and they're monstrous and they're insane looking, and I just love those.
And Tony, how about you?
I'd say it's a toss up between, I really like the pumpkin. I love how the colors worked, but I think I really like the demon skull too. I like the little bit of color on that too, and the way the details worked out. That's probably my favorite.
So I'm going to switch gears away from the deluxe accessory set, although if you guys have additional questions, type them into the comments. We'll definitely circle back around to them. I want to talk about kind of the skeleton blanks that we have. I know we've gotten this question a lot via email, and kind of how that idea came to fruition, how that jumped out of the hacks line. So Andrew, maybe you could shed some light here.
When we were designing sort of the basics of the hack system, basic construction and how they would work, we sort of felt that we're working out the basic male and female body. They're very fit, they're very cool, but if we could manage to, it would be really nice to throw something out there that was a little different, also really daring. Because, quite frankly, sculpting a fully articulated skeleton at a 4-inch scale is really difficult. There was a lot of trial and error as we were going through the process on that of, how we make this work, how we make this manufacturable, how we make this not, break horribly. I think it was a very rewarding sort of creative experiment. I'm really happy with it. It was also really useful with that first Kickstarter, as the numbers kept going up and up at the end, which was a little insane. Doing the different colored skeletons was a fairly easy way to keep adding stretch goals and incentives without doing a whole heck of a lot more work on our end.
And I want us to talk about, you mentioned kind of the small parts and how that difficult engineering was. And I know, Tony, you work with these all the time. So from a sculpting perspective, how do you work with such a small scale with these little fragile parts and make sure that, one, all that detail is coming through, but two, that it's sturdy enough to be played with? Well,
I have to say, first off, that when I was back, I was doing freelance still, and I got to look at those skeletons, and I thought I was so impressed with Boss Fight for the audacity to go that thin, like the engineering, and it's minimum thicknesses, and you're playing with what the structural integrity of it, and it's just brilliant. And so to work at that tiny scale and to make it function and everything the way they do is extremely impressive. I'm not sure if that answered your question.
There was a lot of back and forth with how hard we could make the material before it would stop working, or how soft we could make the material before it would just kind of overweight itself and fall over all the time. Like, there was a lot of back and forth with the factory and during the production of the skeletons, of the initial ones, and how far we could push things as well.
Our poor factory, it's amazing they've stuck with us after asking them to do insane things like that.
They really came through on these, for sure. It's brilliant.
We kind of started to mention the different colors of the skeletons. I want to definitely hit this because I know it's a question we get a lot. So let's start with our white skeletons coming back, and maybe Erik, you could field this one.
The white skeleton is definitely something we want to keep in stock, but we're not sure exactly when we're going to be pulling it back in, slotting it into our factory schedule just at this moment. We don't exactly have a date for it, but the white skeleton is kind of the mainstay that will always, even if it may be out for a little while or whatever, but we'll try and get back to it. I don't foresee us, running things like the purple or the yellow and stuff like that again. Like, that type of thing would kind of be we'll hit it and have fun, and then there's always the decision that we have to make is that slot in queue at the factory worth us putting out another, something that we've already put out, or something new.
And that actually leads into a really good question of, what color do you wish we made? And you guys that are listening, definitely comment, let us know what colors you would like to see on the skeleton blanks. But I know each of you has definitely had some thought on this as well, as we're gearing up to look at a potential factory run next year. So Tony, what color do you wish we made the skeleton blanks in?
I say I would really like to see one in the irradiated zombie green.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Erik, how about you?
Tony stole mine. So I would love to see one in red.
Okay.
Deep red.
All right. And Andrew, how about you? What's the color you're dying to make?
I am a slave to the fluorescence, and I love the pink. So I'd really like to get another fluorescent in there. I don't even care which one, just another fluorescent.
As somebody who grew up in Florida, I'd say to go with the pink one, we really need a nice teal one.
Yeah.
Like a bright teal one to hang out with the pink skeleton.
You know what else I was thinking about was maybe a metallic one.
Yeah, we've talked about that before too. Silver or gold, or
yeah, we had a few comments come in about gold, chrome, metallic. We actually had a comment come in about black and gray, and those are actually in stock on bossfightshop.com. So you're in luck. Those are already in existence.
Surprise!
But we had a lot of comments come in around glow in the dark, and I know that's something that we've done a lot with some of kind of the accessory sets, and we had that early 2-pack that was glow in the dark, and we get that question a lot. It kind of fits that spooky theme. So can you guys talk about glow in the dark and what the challenges are with the glow in the dark figures?
Glow in the dark is tricky because you're adding this phosphorescent powder into the mold, and it changes the chemistry of things. We like making things hard for ourselves, but we don't like making things that hard. There was a lot of trial and error to get those 2-pack figures and the accessory sets right. So while glow in the dark skeleton is something we've talked about for a long time, it's more of an eventually we'll get there, but it's a lot of extra work.
And the other thing with the glow in the dark plastics are always much softer.
Yeah.
You can't get them. They have to be because of the phosphorant, and it so on something like the skeleton, with it being so thin, it would almost be like wobbly, and under its own weight, kind of just fall over all the time.
And we're actually getting a lot of questions about the weathering effect that is on the warrior skeleton that matches the Deluxe Skeleton Accessory Kit. And I know, Erik, as a customizer, you've kind of talked a little bit about this before, about how to take one of the blanks and add that weathering effect. Do you want to just kind of talk through that?
Yeah, the weathering effect that we get on the skeletons, on the warrior skeleton and on the accessory set are, is basically, it's a black wash over. It's kind of a brownish white color initially. It's even a little more brown than our basic white one, than our blank. But if you put a black wash over that, and a wash is basically, one, you have to use acrylic paint. Don't use anything else. Otherwise, enamels have a reaction with softer plastics, and it will never cure correctly. So if you start with an acrylic paint, add quite a bit of water to it, and you literally just kind of brush it over, and it seeps into all the details and stuff like that. And you have to do it slowly, and you have to do it piece by piece because it takes longer to dry because of the water. The other trick to that, if you are going to wash it, is wash the skeleton with a toothbrush and some dish detergent or something first. Just kind of scrub it down a little bit, let it dry, because that gets all the oils and stuff off of it, so the wash will stick better to it. But yeah, it's essentially, it's just washing it over. You can find a lot of that stuff there's people who do a lot of those painting tricks on YouTube and stuff. Our custom classes are not floating around yet publicly, correct, Meredith?
Not yet, no.
Okay. But yeah, if you look on YouTube, there's videos and stuff on how to apply washes like that and stuff like that. And it's not hard, it is messy, but yeah, that's how we achieve the washes on our skeletons.
And that's actually a really good plug for our custom classes. So we run those every quarter about. Erik Araña and Erik Ridlon, who's our master painter, the two of them will lead through a project and teach you all the tips and tricks to customizing. And so we actually just wrapped one up last night, but in the new year, we'll have another one ready to go. So if you are interested in learning customizing, that's a great way to do it. So we'll give a little plug there. I know we always get questions about, they want to know, what things are fun at the factory and kind of understand the process a little bit. And I've heard rumor that there was a really fun story around a heater at the factory with the skeleton feet. Do you guys want to share that with everyone?
Well, I mean, fun is an interesting way
to
describe it. Erik, you want to?
Yeah, so at the factory level, while they're assembling any product, any toys, they have to soften them up to assemble them quickly. Whereas, customizers and us here will use a hairdryer or hot water. They can't do that. They've got to be moving faster than that to get the production done. So they have these probably 2 foot by 2 foot square boxes with heating lights in them, and they just literally take handfuls of the parts and throw them in the box, and then they just sit there and they pull the pieces out and snap them together and go and go and go and go. The feet for the skeleton are so dainty and small. The heat was up too high, and it literally was melting them into blobs before they could even get through them. So we had to kind of keep going to them like they can't really turn down the heat on those things, like they're just bulbs. And basically what we ended up having to do is tell them, like, only put like 5 in at a time. Don't put whole piles in, because it's melting them, literally melting them into goo.
I think that's one of my favorite factory stories that I've heard you guys tell.
It wasn't that much fun at the time.
No,
round after round of melted samples.
Yeah.
And I am seeing all of the comments about asking about news on certain lines and things like that. We are going to stick to skeletons and monsters right now. At the very end, we can do a quick round of some updates on where some product lines are. Let's do a fun one, guys. Since we're on the topic of skeletons, you guys, I know, love skeletons. You watch a lot of movies and TVs with skeletons. Do you guys have favorite skeleton TVs, movies that you're watching when you're getting in the mood to design or sculpt these toys?
If I had to pick my favorite skeleton movie, I would have to say Army of Darkness would be the one.
Great movie. Great movie.
Erik, how about you?
My favorite skeleton-related movie is a little-known film called The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra. And if you haven't seen it, you must see it, because it is one of the greatest art films ever made. It is easily in my top 5 films of all time, on top of just being a great skeleton movie.
All right, and Andrew?
I'm just gonna go with a classic, the Skeleton Dance, which is one of the really early Disney cartoons. I make a point of watching it every Halloween.
Also a good classic. And we had a question come in that I think is fantastic. What didn't make the cut for the Skeleton Accessory Kit that you guys had in the back of your mind?
There were a number of things. I want to say at one point it may have had a shredded up leather jacket in its original concept, like kind of like an old like 80s biker style jacket.
Wasn't there a tombstone at one point?
Might have been a tombstone. There was going to be a horse skull at one point.
Well, Eric's digging through there. We did have a question come in about the Skeleton Accessory Kit, and how do the wings fit onto the torso? And I know that's something we've had come up a bit. So can one of you guys describe how it pops in?
They fit in the shoulder sockets, like kind of like their bat wings.
Kind of like a man bat sort of thing.
Yeah.
They also fit in the ports for the winged characters as well, like the demons or the gargoyles.
Oh, Tony's got say
There
something,
you go.
Tony.
Yeah, take a look at this. That's what they look like up in the shoulder sockets there. Right? There you go.
Going back to the previous question, I actually have the original concept board, and there was a tombstone. There was broken bones for like skeletons to like hold.
I remember that.
And there was also like a crushed skull, and there was at one point we were talking about putting like a Viking skull with like a Viking helmet and a beard.
I still like that idea.
Yeah, some like kind of weirdo stuff like that. Yeah, we just ended up having to cull it down just because of space in the box and what we had time to actually sculpt and things like that.
We just had a follow-up on the wing question. So you remove the arms on the skeleton. Yes. And they also fit into the wing ports on some of the female bodies, correct?
Female and male bodies. The wing ports on the demons or the gargoyle bodies. We've got like the demon blank. We also have the demons, and who else has those wing ports? The gargoyle. Oh, the fairies, the cave fairy. Like they'll fit into those wing ports as well.
So for a female, you could potentially have 4 wings.
Yes.
Nice. I'm gonna have to try that.
I love that you hadn't thought of that, Tony.
I had. I'm putting this all together as we talk.
That's the magic of hacks, guys.
Yeah.
Yes. You never know.
And since we started talking about some of the other kind of monster characters, I'd love to ask each of you if you have a favorite monster, scary character that you've worked on, since there are so many. And maybe Erik, I'll put you on the spot first.
I normally would say Eligor and Gomery but I'm sick of giving that answer as my favorite figures. So I'm going to say female Gargoyle from Series 2. I believe it's Wave 2 or Wave 3, if I'm correct. But I love gargoyles. I love like gargoyle sculptures, like from, and I based the initial designs for both heads on old Renaissance gargoyles from old buildings in England, and I was just very I really liked working on those ones. The stained glass axe and the bell clapper club, like that was just, she's a rad figure.
Andrew, how about you? Do you have a favorite monster, scary character?
What was the first Gorgon that came out with the yelling Gorgon head? Do you remember?
Might have been the Black Racer, maybe, in Wave 2?
Yeah, I adore that head sculpt.
Yeah.
So whatever the first one was that had that.
And Tony, you're up. Favorite monster character from Boss Fight that you've worked on?
I would have to say the Cthulhu kind of holds a special place in my heart. I really like the way that turned out, and the stuff that customizers have done, the paint jobs that I've seen, just really bring it to life. So that's my favorite. Yes.
Those are all good favorites, but nobody's mentioned the zombie yet. And
I thought that was a different category. Zombie.
I mean, it falls into the spooky category. And if you guys have taken the custom class, you know that the zombie is my favorite figure of all time. And I wasn't expecting to like this one as much as I do, but he's just so playable. So he sits with me at all times. Had to get him mentioned. And actually, that's a good segue into talking about some zombie things, because I know we've had lots of questions about zombies and where those are and what that process is like. We have the irradiated zombie that's available, but we've talked a lot about other zombies. So Erik, do you want to kind of touch on some zombies?
I would love to touch some zombies. Let's. I've recently seen some photography from the factory of some of the Wave 1 Series Z items, and they look fantastic, amazing. And man, our factory can replicate some crazy deco stuff that we do. And I'm always in awe of that they can replicate what we send them. Just as a reminder, as a the irradiated zombie is, you can order it from our website, but you can also pre-order the cryo zombie, which kind of is like a sister piece to the irradiated zombie as a transparent blue frozen zombie from Big Bad Toy Store. So
yeah, that's going to be an exclusive hitting first half of next year.
Yeah, so we've already seen the packaging and stuff that they're working on for it, so it's looking pretty solid.
Awesome. And there's another zombie related item that you've kind of talked about this week and surprised everybody with. Do you want to touch on that too?
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Going up on the 31st for pre-order is our first Boss Fight's first advent calendar for December, and it is all Christmas zombie themed, and it's the equivalent of 2 full figures and 2 fully painted accessory sets, like the skeleton set is. So it's a big set, and it's got a lot of stuff, and it'll be a lot of fun to kind of go day to day and open up and see what you're getting, and it has a lot of fun parts, and it's got it was really fun to put the deco together and everything for the zombie and all that. Like, I'm really excited about it.
Yes, and I'm getting a lot of questions about that. I think people are really excited. Yes, it is a limited run item, and it's technically a pre-order on Saturday, but it's like a week and a half of a pre-order. We're expecting to ship these the second week of November. They are on their way to us from the factory now. So it's like a 2-week pre-order.
And they're being just to, so you know, they're being airshipped to us
Yes.
right now, not on a boat. So we want to get them in time so everyone can have them, you know, for the 1st of December. Hopefully.
Yeah.
The mail is slow.
Yes, and we are not going to answer specific questions about what's in the advent calendar. I see a lot of questions about specifics, but it is really fun, and the 2 exclusive figures at the end are amazing. One of the things that I wanted to ask you guys, since we're kind of talking about all things spooky and fun, is how are you all prepping for Halloween? What's your favorite Halloween movie? I know we talked about skeleton theme specifically, but let's broaden that out a little bit and talk Halloween theme. So Tony, I'm going to throw it to you first.
Well, first I'll tell you what we're doing for Halloween. I went and bought a 10-foot tube, and we're going to do like a candy delivery system that's socially distant. And so we'll launch the candy down at the kids, and so that we can all do it safe and proper. As far as my favorite Halloween movie, boy, how about the original Nightmare on Elm Street? I'm going to pick that.
Yeah, that's a great one. All right.
Johnny Depp and all.
Andrew, you're up. What's your favorite?
Jeez, I have been super into all of the Hammer horror films lately. Any of the ones where Christopher Lee is Dracula. Those are pretty fantastic. I don't think we're doing a whole lot for Halloween this year. We're on a busy street. We don't usually get a lot of trick-or-treaters. So we decided this year to satisfy our candy giving by giving a ton of it all to a couple of kids. And so today, Sarah and I gifted 2 giant bags of candy to our next door neighbor kids, and just said, "Here you go, guys. Enjoy the cavities."
That's nice of you. That's cool.
Excellent. All right, Erik, what is your favorite Halloween movie?
I think it's really a toss-up for me. There are no horror films better than the original Exorcist and Evil Dead 2. Those are
Here.
those are my favorite horror films of all time. As for Halloween, we're very I am immunocompromised, so we're being very, very safe, and we are actually turning out the lights this year, and not. We don't have a lot of trick-or-treaters in our neighborhood anyway. The last couple of years have been very quiet for us, so we are actually going to turn out the lights, and I think we're going to watch some horror films that night, the family, so and just kind of keep it low-key.
All good things to do. And before we kind of wrap things up, I know we had a ton of questions in the chat about where certain lines are, and I know we can't give updates on everything, but maybe you guys want to give an update on what will be showing up in our warehouse this weekend.
So the big one is Sam and Max. They're all coming. We're very excited to finally have those and to get them out to people because they're pretty special. And then following up pretty soon, after the Sam and Max stuff, we'll be receiving the Bucky O'Hare Mimi figure, as well as the remainder of stock of the skeletons is on its way, too. And my cats are fighting.
Erik, I know we've seen lots and lots of questions around a lot of the stuff you're working on, particularly Hacks Wave 6. Do you want to do a little update on that?
Hacks Wave 6 kind of got, unfortunately, just because of other priorities, it kind of got shifted down in priority a little bit at the factory, but it is back on track now. We just saw some fully decoed samples from the factory, and they look fantastic. We have a couple of comments on them and a couple of changes to be made, but they are, after we make those final comments, the actual production should go pretty quick. So hopefully early next year we'll have that wave, and hopefully that will quickly be followed by 6.5 right behind it. So,
and we're getting a lot of questions on Flash Gordon. So I think we can confirm that the lunchbox is on the next boat, which is going to be leaving in the next couple weeks. So it is coming very soon.
Not the boat this weekend, but the boat after that.
Correct. The boat this weekend has Sam and Max.
Yes. And a lot of Sam and Max. So.
And then one question that I always like to ask you guys, for all the upcoming products, because we have a ton of them, the first half of next year is going to be insane with the amount of new products that are going to drop. What is your most anticipated product for kind of early next year? And Erik, I'm going to kick this to you first.
Oh man, that's really hard for me because, you know, I really love Hacks because it's ours, and it's creatively, our hands are not tied in any way creatively when it comes to Vitruvian Hacks. At the same time, I'm actually working on some of my white whales, basically, when it comes to designing toys, you know, Phantom, Zorro, Tarzan. But I think the thing I'm most excited about is upcoming is the Lucha Bros, Pentagon Jr. and Ray Phoenix. I'm very, very excited about them. And they're looking fantastic from the photos we've seen from the factory. They are insane amounts of detail and deco work. And yeah,
and
they look.
Since we're getting a ton of questions about that, we're at kind of the final tweaks on those before we go into full production, correct?
Yes, we are. We just started seeing deco samples, partly deco samples. We haven't seen everything. Primarily, we're waiting on the tattoo work to be done at the factory level for us to approve. And you know, if you've seen the amount of the kind of our attention to hyper detail, and then on top of that, all the tattoos that Penta and Phoenix have, we are going to be very picky about it. And the factory knows this, so they're trying to kind of work out all the kinks before they send us samples. That said, everything else we've seen, it almost is almost perfect and ready to go. The colors, the accessories, the washes, the Penta has the matte black and the gloss black to kind of differentiate like what's spandex and what's leather on his costume, and it looks fantastic. And you know, so everything is coming out amazing, and I'm just as antsy and excited to get these in my hand as any of the fans are out there as well. So
it was a good update. I'm not sure we have given an update in the last week or so that's great.
We just started getting the photos yesterday or the day before. So, and we will show some of them soon, but like I said, we're kind of waiting on the final tattoos on the arms to kind of thumbs up and say go go go. So.
And Tony, I'm going to ask you, of the projects that we've announced and are upcoming early next year, what are you most excited about?
Boy, it's hard to say. It is. You know, there's so much stuff coming out. Like we've been all over the place, and I've gotten to work on so many cool things. I don't know. I mean, some of the hack stuff that's coming out, the next couple waves, I'm pretty excited to see some of those characters fully realized. So, you know, seeing them packaged and everything, I think it's the next few hacks waves. I mean, I am excited about the Luchas as well, but mostly everything that we have coming out, I'm excited about.
Very diplomatic answer, Tony.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
I'm pretty sure Andrew is not going to be as diplomatic, and he's going to really pick something here. So, Andrew, what's your favorite thing that you're looking forward to that's coming out?
Wow, that was quite a demanding prompt.
One word answer. One word answer.
There you go.
I'm going to preface it by saying the suite of licenses that we've managed to get are a dream come true. The stuff that we are getting to work on is amazing, and I am flabbergasted that people are trusting us with some of these. They're so cool, and a lot of them are really different from a lot of the other stuff that's out there. So everything is really exciting. But personally, I'm really excited to see the Flash Gordon line start to hit and get fleshed out a bit. We want to go pretty deep on that one. So hopefully the response is there.
So Meredith, of all our upcoming stuff that we've announced, what are you most excited about as our marketer?
Yeah.
Oh, turning it around. I see how you're doing this, Eric. I am really excited for Umbrella Academy. I love the show. It's something that I binge watched in like a weekend when the second season came out. I think some of the costumes for the handler, whenever we get to her, will be really fun.
Yeah.
So I think that's the one I'm most excited for. I can't wait to see what we do with that. All right, so we started today talking about skeletons, and we kind of got veered off a little there at the end, giving some news updates. I want to end today talking about the skeletons as well. So I know we've got a lot of questions come in that, what's next for the skeletons? So Eric, Andrew, do you guys want to give a little teaser about what people can expect in 2021 from the skeletons?
What's next for the skeletons? I don't know. Maybe some of them would like a peaceful rest.
Yeah.
We should. I mean, we should respect their wishes and whatever their beliefs about the afterlife are. There are very exciting new skeleton things in the works.
Yes.
It is too early to talk about them beyond that. But it's real cool.
It is.
Yeah, I think we're both working on a couple of different skeleton things upcoming for late 2021 and probably early 2022.
All right.
We all have a skeleton within us dying to get out.
All right, so that was your teaser, guys. There are lots of fun things coming with the skeletons. We are going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining us and spending your Thursday evening. We love doing these. We love answering your questions and talking about everything. So we'll definitely try to get one more of these in this year and then resume it early next year. But definitely watch for the next Boss Fight live event, and we can't wait to see you all soon. So have a great weekend and happy Halloween, everyone.
Peace out.
Right.
Thanks.